Hi, welcome back again to Elektro Vox. I have, what I consider to be the most special artist on the lineup at Resistance 2024, which is Simon, Carter and Fabsi. You may not have heard of them yet, but if you haven't, you should, because their music absolutely slays my brain in every way possible. For those at home that haven't heard of you before, tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Simon Carter, this is Fabsi, and we do a mixture of techno, industrial techno, with some elements of sort of big room and EDM to keep the crowd jumping. That's what we do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, we have to cover it. We have to cover it off. Let's get it out of the way now. With a witch theme, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's a bit witchy.
Our hook is a witch theme. You know, sort of paganism and a few spells thrown in.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so, tell us about your recent release, because you had a couple of albums, but tell us about the last thing you've released. Probably the thing I bought, actually.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about sort of the thoughts behind your latest things.
Yep, so we did, just for this festival, we did quickly put together a sort of a best of collection of our tracks, because we've never released anything on CD before, so we thought this might be a nice little, you know, something that people that can pick up. But before that, we did release Hex, Herbs and Techno, which was an album I specifically tried to make the tracks shorter and punchier, pretty much for festivals, really, for the dance floor. You know, don't get me wrong, we loved the first album, but that sort of slightly slower industrial techno, it can drag on a bit, and I take the point, so we sort of tried to jazz it up a bit.
The smirk on Simon's face is because I told him that.
It's very true.
And to be honest, having seen a couple of performances, like the difference is why I'm saying that they are the main band for me at this festival, because yeah, they absolutely slay my brain, and I hope when you're watching this in the future and you were at Resistance that they've slayed your brain as well. So how different would you say your music is now, apart from that point you just made there, now compared to when you first started doing music? Be it you both, or obviously you've been doing this a long time, Simon.
I've been doing this an awful long time, and it is quite different, but I've always had that dance floor vibe in mind. You can always tell a Simon Carter track, it's always aimed at the dance floor. I do very few slow tracks or mid-tempo tracks. But yes, I did start off doing the sort of the hard dance stuff with Studio X. Moved on to some of my own stuff, which was more pop orientated, but it was still aimed at the dance floor. And then I found a hook with the techno and the industrial techno. Absolutely.
It's massive. Alright, and yeah, Fabsi, I mean, you haven't been doing it as long as Simon, but
no.
Tell me a little bit about from like when you first started doing this music and how you feel about it all now.
So it's now exactly 3 years ago when we first released something together, so for me it was the first time ever. And so we started really with that industrial techno stuff with witchy vibes, and now we are going more into techno and EDM style, but yeah, so not much of a range I did before in styles.
Okay, And even though you just released that first CD, I mean, is there anything you're working on at the moment? And what can we sort of expect from you both in the future?
So at the moment it's so that Simon has some big plans where I'm not so much included. So I have to really wait until he's done that all so we can start something again.
Yeah, I have fingers in lots of pies, as you know, and for a long time I've wanted to do a future pop album, which I'm working on. Made some big progress. Expect to see that hopefully this year. I've got some fantastic guest vocalists who were blown away by the instrumentals I sent them. So I'm looking forward to seeing what reaction that gets. Yeah, and then hopefully once that's out of the way, back to some of our stuff.
Okay, great. And if you haven't checked out Simon's other bits and pieces, do so, because you cover so many different genres. It's brilliant. So,
Kerze, das sind die Hexen, du kannst uns nicht beherrschen. Wir sind die Hexen. Wir lieben etwas.
okay, and now being, quite strongly footed in the UK alternative scene, what would you both say are your favourite things about the Gothic alternative scene, be it here, Germany, wherever?
Well, I think you summed it up just before the intro. Didn't you? We hate people, but the caveat is, of course, is that we feel very accepted in the dark alternative Gothic scene. Everyone's very friendly and welcoming, and we feel like we can be ourselves in that scene.
Yeah, and I love the clothes and the style and everything. I could go hours and hours through the internet and to look in all the shops what they have new. I just love it.
Yeah. Okay. So you feel at home essentially.
Yes.
In the scene. Yeah. Okay. Right. So changing it slightly. Let's say that the holodeck on Star Trek was a real thing, and you had an hour to go in there, do anything you want, safe for work, of course, for the next week. What sort of story program would you be running?
What would we be running? Where would we be playing a gig? Maybe Vigati.
That's your dream.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a dream, but it would be nice to do maybe one of the big German festivals.
Yeah, for me, Vigati is anyway the biggest. I'm going there every year since 10 years or something. So as I'm from Germany, it's just my thing.
It's funny, we don't have a massive following in Germany. Our following is really the UK and the US, but not so much in mainland Europe.
Yeah, that's surprising considering how much they love techno over there. So get on it, Germany.
Yeah.
If you could be given a weapon, any weapon you can think of, be it science fiction, fantasy, comic book, what sort of weapon would you each want to have?
So I would like to have a big long staff with something shiny on top.
I thought you'd go for a bubble gun or something.
Throwing fireballs out, basically.
Yeah, something that you can launch from stage, perhaps. You can launch into the audience.
I know you hate people.
That's going a bit far.
Rampage.
How about you?
Oh, I don't know. What would I have as a weapon?
You're taking normally in games.
Yeah, true. So, some big weapon that I could bonk you over the head with, yeah?
We are often playing games together.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
It just sounds like Timmy Mallet, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, and going back on a couple of serious questions, and so which song that or track you've made, or which live performance that you've performed has been a defining moment that's changed your life, and why?
Well, obviously when we did 0 Day Festival, because that was our debut performance, that was a big game changer, and we have to thank Emmerich for booking us.
Good man.
And we have to actually thank Emmerich again, because he booked us for that Slime Light gig which you mentioned previously.
Yes.
And that was a bit special. It felt like everything clicked, and we could even see it from the audience, you know, with the reception we got. It was fantastic, wasn't it? Everything went smoothly.
So many people came to us after.
Yes.
It's just crazy.
It felt natural. That performance just felt really natural, whereas perhaps the first one was a bit disjointed, and you know, we were finding our feet really.
Yeah. And I hope that's going to be the case again today. Seeing you constantly busy after your show with people trying to annoy you.
Yes.
How great it was. Hopefully not annoying, but you know what I mean. Okay, and let's say that you could ask the universe one question each, and you could get one very clear answer. What would you ask?
Oh my god.
Oh,
I know, going a bit deeper.
Deep, yeah.
Crazy.
What would you ask? Why haven't we been booked yet? What's wrong, Germany? Wake up! You're from Germany.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, it's really hard for me. I'm probably gonna ask if there will ever be a question that I wanna ask.
No, you have to ask for world peace.
Oh, that would be
Well,
frustrating. You're like, what's the question I should ask? Universe, and then you can't ask it.
Then you can't ask it. The universe tells you the question, but you can't ask the question because you've had your shot. Yeah.
That's probably
What's the
42.
answer?
Yes,
I just
42.
wanted to say that.
Okay. Well, yeah, it was a bit of a heavy question, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, when you were both children, what ambitious job did you want to have when you were older?
Wow. I struggled really finding my feet, and I didn't really know what I was going to do when I was younger. I probably would have tended slightly more towards the military, and then I ended up doing some work for the military and NATO when I lived in Belgium for 10 years. But I wouldn't say it was my dream job. I mean, I didn't dream of becoming a performer or a musician. It's just sort of come our way, really, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But perhaps knowing that now, and if I was younger again now, I would say absolutely, to be a successful musician, to have enough money to do it full time would be fantastic.
Yeah. So I always wanted to be a graphic designer, but it was too expensive in Germany with the school and everything. Yeah. So now I'm a CAD constructor, which is not so much different, but just a bit more technique. Yeah. So I'm not too far away from what I wanted to do.
Okay. And if you could both be a fictional character for the day, which character would you be and why?
I would be Mr. Bean because,
Oh
yeah, because it sort of merges into my personality anyway, I think.
I would definitely be Barbie in Barbie World in the movie.
I thought you'd go with Sailor Moon, actually.
Yeah, Sailor Moon as well.
I cannot now get the image out of my head of Mr. Bean doing an industrial set, but it keeps going wrong, but he keeps fixing it in the most ridiculous
Yes,
ways.
and imagine him dancing on stage. Fantastic.
Amazing. He just walked on and everyone's like cheered and he's like, okay.
He'd do that wave to the crowd, wouldn't he? the Mr. Bean wave.
Oh god, Leighton. No idea. Okay, and last two questions now. So, is it both your first Resistance? It is, isn't it?
It is. Yep.
Yes.
So, being in the world famous Resistance the last couple of days and experiencing like the last Friday and Saturday, how are you finding it so far, and does it live up to your expectations?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I think it's better than I expected.
Better, I could agree with that. I thought the Corporation is a great venue. So much space, sound systems, plenty adequate. It's I'm impressed.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, actually, I was impressed about today was when we were shown the backstage area, and to actually have our own proper dressing room
Big room.
is really nice, because all at the end of the day, all we want to do is put our stuff somewhere safe.
Yeah.
And so many other events, you struggle to even get that. So, no, fantastic.
Yes. And anyway, when you go in England to a festival, everything is so colorful. Everyone has something, pink, green, or whatever. In Germany, everything is black on the festival, so I like it a bit more. I think I fit to that a bit more than in Germany.
And we actually dance over here.
Yes.
Sorry, Jeremy. Okay, and the last question is there anything you would like to say to your fans?
Buy the CD.
Oh yes.
We've only got a limited amount.
Yeah. Yes, not so much there.
Yeah, and of course a big thank you, because without them we wouldn't even get the gigs, would we?
Yeah,
They've been fantastic. The support we've had is fantastic, and I did mention this to Technivore only yesterday. It's so nice that I've had several emails from labels offering us basically a contract on their label, and it's not something that I'm looking to do at the moment, because we're actually doing well enough without a label, so that is all down to the fans, so thank you.
Yeah, and also kudos to Leighton from me for putting you on a really good slot for Resistance.
Yes.
It shows a lot of trust.
It does.
Crazy good.
Yep, really good slot, looking forward to slaying it.
Yes, sorry to put so much pressure on you.
Yeah.
Alright, well thank you ever so much for joining me and chatting again for a second time, and thank you everyone for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Brilliant.
Elektro Vox.